Hey everybody, it's Liz bringing you a great summer painting project. Today we'll be going over how to make a tropical plant painting. This is a very basic painting that doesn't require much aside from time and effort. There are a lot of ways to amp this picture to new levels, but let's start with the basics first. If you don't learn to walk before you run, you tend to get pissed off because you keep falling on your face. First thing is first, let's talk about supplies. You can do this painting on a canvas, but I'll be using Canva paper. You'll need a pencil, paintbrushes, a small one for details, and a large one for covering a larger area. A palette, I'm reusing a paper plate that was kind enough to support my lunch. A cup of water. And yep, acrylic paint. The first step here is to jump right in with drawing some lines. This is going to be the vein for the center of your tropical leaves. Don't overthink this step. Just take your pencil up, pause at a point, and then bring it right back down alongside the first line. These lines shouldn't be straight, since leaves all have a natural curvature to them. Space them out and put them randomly across the bottom or side of the page. Notice that I'm not giving you exact directions as to where your lines should be. That's because it doesn't matter. These are your leaves and you can put them wherever you want. Creativity is about your self-expression, not about you perfectly regurgitating my self-expression. So if your lines are wider or longer or hanging from the top of your page, then that's exactly where they're supposed to be. Now that I have my guidelines, I'm going to draw some gently waving lines around those leaf veins. This will be the outside edge of the leaves. The leaves should come to a point above where you stop drawing the veins. Just draw where the leaf would be if you could see it. Not only is it okay that the leaves overlap, it's needed in order to make a painting dynamic. You notice on tropical plants, the leaves are often so large that they cover lower leaves. By having that overlap, we're subconsciously creating that depth in the image. I've only made 4 leaves, but you can see by their angle and size that the canvas looks full. I'm going to draw one more smaller leaf here just to add something to this corner space that seems a little too blank for me. The next thing I'm going to do is add some imperfections to the leaves. To do this, I'm going to choose random areas of the side of the leaf and draw a triangle as if I've taken out a slice. And then I'm going to erase the unnecessary edge of the leaf. Tropical plants often have splits in their leaves. Painting and drawing is very much a study of life and a way to sit back and observe what is without judgment. So when I say I'm adding imperfections, the artist in me goes, "Oh heck yeah, let's add those," and gets all excited. The imperfections, the overlaps, the variances in color, shape, and form are what make life worth living and certainly worth painting. Here I'm going to draw a line from the top of the vein of that leaf to the tip of my leaf. Once that's done, I'm going to choose a section of the side of the leaf and I'm going to draw lines evenly up along each side. These lines should be even for the most part, though you can have them get a bit tighter together as they near the top. These supporting lines shouldn't be perfectly straight. Their curve will give the illusion of a bend in your leaf. Again, adding that layer of complexity to the composition. Don't overthink this part, just try to stay consistent. Now you have all the guidelines needed to do your painting. At this point, you've made yourself a coloring book page that you get to fill in. I'm going to go ahead and paint my background. You can make it any color, but I'm going to go with purple. I want it a bit more tropical and pink than the color assortment I have, so I'm going to mix some stuff up and see what happens. I'm making it a color that's more on the reddish end of the spectrum, so I'll get a nice contrast with a lot of the green that's going to be in the leaves. This is where you'll use your wider brush to fill in the space. I'm going to take this opportunity to talk about acrylics and their love-hate relationship with water. Depending on the kind of paint you have, your acrylics have varying levels of viscosity. If your paint is on the watery side, you probably don't need a ton of water to get it to spread easily. However, your paints may not cover the surfaces evenly and you'll get that streaky look. If you have a thicker or heavier body paint, you may need to work in a bit more water to get that smooth consistency. It's pretty frustrating when you get that clumpy look to your paint and you can't get a nice line. The amount of water in your paint is usually the problem here. The other thing about acrylics that seems to send people into a panic is what color paint to buy. It can be intimidating walking into an art store and standing in that aisle of hundreds of shades and brands. If you're a fan of mixing your own colors, you really need only the primaries: red, yellow, blue, and the colors that don't really fall into that spectrum, black and white. From that base, you can hypothetically make most colors. That's the idea anyway, but there are actually a lot of colors that you can only get with specific hues of those original primaries. That's why I usually invest in some of the larger tubes of those base colors and have some already mixed small tubes to play with for fun. I get a 48 pack of the small color tubes from Blick. It saves me some time, and with a coupon and the right time of year, the cost is very reasonable. Once I'm done with my background, I'm going to start filling in the sections I've drawn on the leaves with a smaller brush. I'm going to start with a light and vibrant green. I'm going to speed through this section a bit. The basics here are that you're going to pick sections that aren't necessarily close to one another. Keep on going, selecting whatever colors you want. To make a better transition between colors, sometimes it's less of a drastic change if you add a new color to the previous color. So if I painted with green and wanted to use yellow next, I would combine the two colors to make an intermediary color first and paint with that. You'll notice I'm not just using variations of green. Yes, they're leaves, but not all leaves are green. I'm going to push the boundaries and really get some vibrant colors in here. In the end, they'll all be tied together by an outline around the exterior. You can really be playful here, but if you're convinced that the only proper leaf is a green leaf, that's cool too. Just remember to clean your brush in between colors. Don't worry if your colors overlap here. You're not going to see it. And you can always say that you meant to do it. I overlap my colors, and I've yet to have anybody squint at my painting and ask me if I did something on purpose. And if they did, I'd just say yes anyway. So if your inner critic is screaming that your lines aren't perfect, just flip at the bird and continue painting. Be brave and stay consistent with what you're doing. I'm going to pick out a darker and bolder green to go back over the vein in the leaf. Take your time and use a smaller brush if you have one. Now we're ready for the final steps. For this, you'll need white paint and a small brush for detail. Make an outline around the outside of each leaf. Once you've gone around each one, there's some optional detailing. If you think it looks amazing as it is, and it probably does, then you're done. If you want to showcase some of those leaf imperfections you see on tropical plants, then take your brush and make small intermittent strokes with the white. This speckled effect can be found on a lot of broadleaf plants. When you have enough speckles that you think look nice, you can go back and make some very subtle thin lines along the leaves with a darker color. I'm using a dark purple. I'm going to start from that vein and slowly make a few lines outward. The lines give a sense of shadow without having to actually worry about making shadows. Ta-da! A very tropical leaf painting that you can be proud of. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had fun. If you like what you saw, please follow me on YouTube. And if you want some great perks or one-on-one help, check out my Patreon account for more details. Rock out and art on.